Hello and welcome into the PHNX Cardinals podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review. I'm Johnny Turnbull, joined as always by Mr. Bo Brock and Frank Sanders going through his hat collection. Nope, rally hat. We don't need to
We need to rally. Yes, we need to rally, man. The troops are going crazy right now. We need to rally.
Support the troops, Bo Brock.
You know what we're talking about.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, we need a rally cap. I mean, watching the Diamondbacks the last couple games, they did not bring the sticks on their road trip.
I forgot what it was like to be a Diamondbacks fan, and now I'm grossly reminded here 2 weeks into the season.
Yeah, I think our guy Derek Montilla, the mayor, he's got a great article on GoPHNX.com about how to root this season. It's like grading on a curve, I guess, kind of how when the Cardinals were in 2018, how you kind of followed that team. It was tough. It's going to be a tough year, tough sledding for the D-backs going forward.
Did part of that guy talk about gouging your eyes out because you get one hit in 8 innings? But no, we wish them well. There'll be some good things to look forward to. At least, we're not talking about contract disputes. They traded all their good players away, so they wouldn't have to do that. And hopefully our Arizona Cardinals aren't following that same path, gentlemen, because day 2 of this Kyler Murray contract saga continues, at least for this week, after Tom Pelissero of NFL Network's report yesterday. Today, we got some interesting nuggets from NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, who was on Jody's show on Fox Sports 910, saying, pretty frankly, the Cardinals aren't engaged with Kyler Murray's people. Like, I think there are a lot of misconception, Bo, that like they're going through negotiations right now. Cardinals aren't talking to Eric Burkhart and Kyler Murray. A couple other notes from Rap Sheet that Kyler Murray doesn't want to wait. He wants a deal right now. The Cardinals have confirmed we'll wait till this summer. Owner Michael Bidwell, quote unquote, is not ready yet. And then lastly, and I thought this was interesting because this is something I just guessed yesterday. Rap Sheet thinks part of their inactivity in free agency has to do with the fact that they are trying to figure out a way to get this contract situated and taken care of, which is just, I think it's a cop-out, but that sounds like the Cardinals okay, well, if we're going to focus on Kyler Murray and paying him as much money as he wants, we can't have a real offseason.
Well, I heard Rap Sheet say he thought that the Arizona Cardinals, because they were so active last offseason and they paid so much money to free agents in 2021, that's why they're a little bit more inactive this offseason. And not so much Kyler Murray, but I am kind of curious, and Ian Rappaport asked this kind of out loud, saying, What is Kyler Murray? What is Eric Burkhart? What do they gain? What do they want to accomplish by getting the deal done now? Like, what's the point? Because we've brought up several times, probably to a fault, ad nauseum, the precedent for when these deals are done, and it's post-draft. It's in June, July, August, and September. It's not now. Like, what is Eric Burkhart outside of being able to say, hey, I was the first agent to get my quarterback a contract at this point ahead of schedule? And like, why does he want to do it now when, Lamar Jackson's looming? Doesn't that leave more money on the table potentially for Kyler Murray?
I would say no. Only because Lamar's doing the deal by himself, and we don't know what that's going to entail. We don't know how aggressive he's going to be. If he's thinking, remember, Tom Brady didn't go out and take all the money in on himself. He literally paid himself a handsome salary so he can get the players he wanted to get to bring to the team. So if the model of winning is that's how you should get paid, then Tom Brady set the standard on that. No one's following that. We can look at the quarterbacks that in the recent months that have signed contracts, and those contracts that have gotten signed makes the guys right now feel sketchy. I will say this again. Kyler is the one that's taking the hit about the Cardinals' failure of last season. Unfortunately, JV, that's the problem. And when you're saying he's the one that's taking the hit, and you've signed the coordinator, the head coach, who's not taking the hit. He's not the one that had that 1-5 slide. He's not the one that looked bad in the playoff game. And I think that is the reason why right now, if you're going to sign me, you should sign me now, because right now I'm looking like you're getting ready to do some crazy stuff on draft day. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Sean Marks in the super chat. Thank you, sir. It's only day 2. It feels like it's been forever. Well, yeah, technically it's been the entire offseason, Sean. Just this week, it's only dominated half the week. So we should feel very blessed because of that. Sick yesterday, still sick today. Sorry to hear that, Sly. Sorry, guys, won't be able to pedal Harbaugh as much. Hey, that's all right, my friend. That's a boat you're going to be in by yourself for indefinitely. Good to see you, Josh. Book it, hat gang. We got the hats going. Mr. Bobrock, he's on an island today with his sculpted head of hair. He's got a hat ready to go. Got a nice mesh hat there. I love it. NFL AZ Cardinals, D-Hop negotiated his own deal with the Cardinals front office. This alone tells me our front office is somewhat fair with players if D-Hop was content with his deal. Well, it's what Bo said yesterday. Pete Chandler-Jones traded for extension. Patrick Peterson was made the highest paid cornerback at his position mid his career with the Arizona Cardinals. Budda Baker, top of his game, contract extension. We thought they were trending in that direction. I think what's so difficult, Bo, for a lot of fans is Calais leaves, right? Mm-hmm. Patrick Peterson leaves, Chandler Jones leaves, and now all of this talk with Kyler Murray, and they're not the same, right? Those guys were in their 30s, but it's just bad timing. Because if you just done a deal, let's say with Budda, in January or February, right? But it feels like it's been a hot minute since the Cardinals have extended one of their own. And part of that is because they haven't drafted well enough to internally re-sign somebody.
Tyrann Mathieu, before that deal went south,
yep.
He signed a big money deal, and Calais signed a big money deal at 25 that took him to 30, and then he got another deal from the Jacksonville Jaguars, just like Christian Kirk. Budda signed right before the season when he became the highest paid safety in the league a couple seasons ago. It's just the Arizona Cardinals have a long history of paying their players. A lot of people on my Twitter mentions were saying, well, Michael Bidwell's never had to stare down paying a quarterback. And that's true. That's what makes this kind of unique. And also, it wasn't Budda Baker coming off, a tough end to a bad ending to a season. He trended in the right direction the entire time, where I think you're seeing Kyler Murray. He looked mortal in that playoff game, and people are having their doubts about whether or not he can stay healthy. I don't think the Cardinals are factoring that in that. I think that, there's a timetable for these things. And the only thing that's really sped things up is Eric Burkhart, Kyler Murray's camp. They want it now for some reason, because otherwise the Cardinals probably are right on schedule. Like, everybody's on schedule, but for some reason we want to move this ahead a couple months. That's the biggest thing I don't understand. And I know, Frank, you tried to shed some light on that. It's just, I'm still just like, well, what's the hurry? What's the hurry? Your guy's going to make historic money.
I'll make it here or I'll make it someplace else. But if I'm going to be with the Cardinals, you damn well better do it now, because if I got to wait till June and July might not even happen if you can get something for me out of the draft. Remember, he hasn't done anything thus far, and they're out and about gallivanting across the country looking at freaking second-tier draft picks and not the
They were working out a UConn defensive tackle today. Made me want to throw up in my mouth.
I'm about to what? Come on, man. A UConn? Get the freak out of here. That's the Steve Keim magic, right? Which we have seen that have stunk. Bo, you've done an eloquent job of putting together the Cardinals, Steve Keim's draft pick, and we're stuck out of the top 10. There's only 3 players that's still on this damn team, which is terrible. And that in itself tells you that, and those guys that left were young. And that's the part where we're looking at right now. To me, June and July might not happen. And that's on the table because Kyler is the punching bag right now of the Arizona Cardinals in regards to he's not tall enough. He has a stinky attitude. They went 1-5. He is the absolute reason why they slid. He didn't make it to the Pro Bowl. Forget that. No, not that guy. That guy's not the one who's done it twice 2 years in a row and have made Cliff Kingsbury, who was an average coach, nice to become that, was potentially, how about this here? He was up for the coach of the year somewhere between week 8 and 10. And what happened to him? He fell off the map like, man, poop out somebody's butt who just had tacos that day. Quick. That's what I'm just saying. Like, this is the part where
God, Frank.
Because this thing is terrible. We might
Jason, I gotta make a point here.
Team. Go ahead.
I gotta make a point. Jason in the chat. Yeah, let's give Kai more draft capital. Trading Kyler Murray would kill this franchise for the next decade. I think this needs to be sung into oblivion. And I don't think Steve Keim's a bad GM, but to think that trading Kyler Murray because you get a bunch of draft picks with how this team and this front office is drafted is the recipe for success is completely asinine and will lead to a complete house cleaning and this franchise having to start over in the next 2 to 3 years. If you think that trading Kyler Murray, let's just say, Peter King was on with Pro Football Talk, I think yesterday. Peter King's like, if I was the Cardinals, I would be calling the Carolina Panthers about trading and getting some top 10 pick. It's like, okay, so let's play that hypothetical. If you trade Kyler Murray to Carolina, let's say you get Brian Burns, 2 1s, 2 2s, right? So that equates to 3 1s because Brian Burns is Pro Bowl defensive end. 2 1s, 2 2s, right? Well, by the course of the draft scale, half those picks are going to bust. Those picks aren't going to be any good. One of those picks has to be a quarterback, and that's a complete toss-up, right? So let's say you get Malik Willis. Let's say he's just average, right? So now you got a stud defensive end. You have no quarterback, right? And you're starting over. And meanwhile, Kyler Murray goes to a new organization. Maybe, hopefully, he sets the world on fire. The issue I have with this entire thing is if this was an organization that we could trust with the development of young quarterbacks, trust with the development of young players in the draft, with a history of success in late April, maybe I'd feel differently about this. If I knew they could go and get another quarterback. They've never had anybody like Kyler Murray. And I think where fans are frustrated, Bowen, you said it earlier, Bidwell's never been in this position where he's had to negotiate with a guy in his early to mid-20s that's got a brand bigger than this brand right here. Carson Palmer, I love him, damaged goods, and the Cardinals bought low, and he felt rewarded, and they helped each other, right? It was a good marriage, right? But Carson Palmer was not a hot commodity. The Cardinals got him for like a 6th or a 7th for a reason. So it worked in their favor, right? They have never had a young man who has all the leverage in the world, who has multiple suitors in different sports courting him. And the Cardinals should have known coming into this agreement with Kyler Murray when they took him first overall, if he succeeds, we have to be prepared after so many years because he's undersized to go into contract discussions early. If they didn't understand that early on, then they didn't do their job. They continue to not do their job. And they deserve to be ridiculed now. You have to be proactive. This is a player movement game at the quarterback position. Not everybody is, Lamar Jackson, who wants to play under the franchise tag, who's made no money after being picked 32. You have Kyler Murray in your building every day. You know damn well that that's not Lamar Jackson. So they shouldn't be surprised by any of this, Bo.
I don't think they are surprised by it. I don't know if they're even buying into, like, as you mentioned, Rap Sheet said he doesn't even know if they're what they're doing. They're not negotiating. They're not, as far as the contract that Eric Burkhart presented to them and took off the table as he negotiated with himself. This organization, they're not looking at Tom Paracello's. Am I having a stroke? My God.
You're trying to get him on the show. Don't pronounce his name wrong.
I know, right? He's, they're not looking at Twitter set ablaze right now. I don't even think Steve Keim or Michael Bidwell are on the bird. I mean, they don't care. I mean, it's like what Dave Chappelle said. It doesn't exist. It's not the real world. Twitter isn't, even though there's a lot of the reports that we read are out there. As far as Kyler Murray's contract, I think they have the timeline in place. And they're gonna go with their timeline, and they're gonna pay him, and everybody's gonna forget about this big mess until it comes around again when Kyler Murray's 3 years into a 5 or 6 year deal.
You're very optimistic. I like the idea of that. I got to get to June and July when you're talking about that they're going to sign him. That part, and no one, Steve Keim, no Michael Bidwell has come out and said we got our boys back. No one, not one of them. We're going to sign Kyler in June when everything is right. Maybe that's why not do that? Why not have that on the table? Well, no, let's just drag it out. But what happened immediately was we signed Steve Kimes, and we also gave Cliff Kingsbury a contract.
But Kingsbury was going into the final year of his deal.
Hey, everyone thought they were going to get fired. We thought they was going to get fired after that slide.
The difference is, though, like, we don't know what they're being paid. They could be paid like middle of the market. Michael Bidwell could be saving money and just saying, hey, guys, I don't want to have to go through a coaching search again. I do trust you guys, but I'm not going to break you guys off. Like, do we think Cliff's making top 10 coaching money? We do not. Kyler Murray's going to be paid top 5 money.
Everyone's a free agent. And so if I turn down going back to college after Lincoln Riley got $11 million sitting over at USC, please don't tell me you're not going to pay me my money. I was making $4 million as a head coach in the NFL, which was a slap in the face. And I had to worse. I can only get better. So you got to pay me. You got to break me off, Mike. And guess what? If I'm the general manager, I probably would say, yeah, Mike, I'll take it, whatever. But he's a hot topic conversation piece too. So everybody could be bought, and everyone. The free agency market right now is across the board in the NFL. And right now, I just say that, if you're not telling me, Bo, I just don't believe that June and July is coming fast enough for Kyler right now. And that's the reason why Eric's arguing these points.
Here's what I'll say, Frank, and I'm not going to hit the panic button until Kyler Murray's, if he doesn't go into 2022 with an extension.
22 what?
The season. If he goes into the regular season without an extension, that's when I'll hit the panic button. I'll officially tap in.
He won't be around. We won't see him. He's not going to be around.
What do you mean? Where's he going to be?
He's going to be
Where's he going? He's under contract. Okay.
He's homebound.
Right. But he's not going to be playing for anybody else.
He's going to be at fall ball with the A's.
Number one, he'll
be at fall ball.
Okay. You can go to instructional league. I hear it's great. You can go get like salami sandwiches.
That inside elbow up, Kyler.
Ride a bus. Yeah. I don't know about that.
Frank, I need to tell you something. Somebody that you're very close with would be very disappointed in your pro Kyler Murray trade, and that's your good buddy Aeneas Williams, friend of the program, on Twitter today. Quote, the Cardinals and Kyler will get this done. Mark my words. I want to believe, the great Aeneas Williams. Frank.
They traded Nicky. They got rid of him. Told him to go to St. Louis and get a Super Bowl. Bye, Aeneas. One of the best cornerbacks, 6-time Pro Bowl. Bye, Aeneas.
Hall of Famer. That's true. God, Frank just made the point opposite. That backfired quick. God damn. All right, I want to remind everybody right now, DraftKings Sportsbook app is the place to be. The NBA playing games kick off tonight, the culmination, and it's the official sports betting partner in the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win. Get $150 in free bets instantly. You clinch no matter what. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on NBA hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for an even bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Plus, each day of the playing game, which ends today, right now, go on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. The Suns aren't in the playing game, which is, thank God for that, but we have a tremendous matchup tonight. I can't wait to watch the Clipperless Paul George lose to, of course, the red-hot Pelicans. Love my Pelicans. Call to action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any team to win tonight. Bet the Pelicans. During the play-in tournament, get $150 in free bets. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customer only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Also want to remind everybody, my DraftKings pick of the week, Andre Drummond over 9.5 points Sunday against the Celtics. I am fully on the Brooklyn Nets bandwagon just for some shits and gigs this time of the year. Listen, the Suns, they've locked up the West as far as I'm concerned. So I like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to take care of business in the East. I don't know how you gentlemen feel about that.
They're going to sleepwalk to the finals? Is that what you're saying?
They're going to go from playing game to the finals. Oh, the Suns are going to sleepwalk to the finals. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Last year we was doing very good until he got a hand injury or a shoulder injury. And all it takes is one injury from one of your top tier players. And that really was our problem last year. So I really can't just join that wagon. I would like to. JV, but I'm just when injuries and having to deal with somebody for 5 games to 7 games, your body get beat up, and they have enough players that actually on the opposite team, Bo, that actually hate the Suns because they talk so much trash this year. And you guys know when you're talking trash, you got to start to back it up. And when we start putting that body on you, it gets ugly. I'm not sure what this is going to be like.
What's Monday? Monday, tax day now, isn't it? The 18th, I believe. So it's like injuries in the playoffs to CP3 and death and taxes. It seems like all those are guarantees in life, unfortunately. Hopefully CP3 can stay healthy this postseason because, the Suns, they have a squad, to say the least. Are we doing this draft right now? Are we going to get into our because of Kyler Murray, we're going to do a Bill
Does Frank
Murray
know about that
draft?
we're doing this? Do you know about our draft,
you know that?
Frank?
I thought I saw someone say a Bill Murray draft, but I tried to look it up. I didn't know what was going on. So I said, let's do it then. What do we got going on?
I mean, who can't run off just maybe 10 Bill Murray films anyways? Just off
we're each
the
going to
top
pick
of the heads.
3. We're each going to pick 3.
Yeah. Okay.
In light of Kyler Murray's contract.
Yeah, trying to lighten up discussions about who's become the most polarizing figure, as Frank said, of the Arizona Cardinals franchise, which at this point last year, I would have never envisioned it. If you told me Cliff Kingsbury was a hot button topic and Steve Keim was a hot button topic with the Arizona Cardinals and their fan base, I would have been like, absolutely. Kyler Murray become a hot button topic, and then now we're in trouble. But let's lighten things up. Bill Murray, one of the best comedian actors of all time, gone to drama recently, but the guy just has an incredible resume. I mean, if there was gold jackets and busts for actors, Bill Murray would absolutely have one, just like Aeneas Williams has for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Who's starting this thing off? Should we give Frank the number 1 pick?
No, he wants it. I'll take it.
You want it. All right. You got somebody lined up.
I do, because it's a staple in my house. It's one of my son's favorite movies. He's got a costume. First overall pick in the Bill Murray mock draft. I'm going Ghostbusters 1984. Dr. Peter Venkman is the first overall pick in the Ghostbusters draft. Span now 2 sequels. One that just came out this year, Ghostbusters Afterlife, where they trot out Bill Murray's corpse at the end of the movie. It's not a good look for Bill, but they revolutionized comedy. The late, great Harold Ramis. Fantastic film, all-time movie. Dr. Peter Venkman steals the show, saving Dana Barrett and company from Zool. My favorite Bill Murray movie of all time, amongst many. That's the first overall pick.
Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters, right there. All right. Frank, you want number 2, or you want me to take number 2? Because I will pluck one of the greatest Bill Murray films.
It's hard not to. I mean, if he wasn't in Caddyshack, I don't think it'd been the same. I just don't think it would have been the same.
That's a good number.
I'm running with Caddyshack. I just don't think it would have been the same without him. So he's my number 1 pick.
Cinderella Story. I don't know where. I mean, unbelievable. Playing the groundskeeper there for Caddyshack. You guys didn't take mine. Number 1 overall, Groundhog Day. I think that's the top Bill Murray film. A lot of people have tried that format of movie. I saw with Andy Samberg recently. Palm Springs, very funny, but it's not Groundhog Day.
It's not. No.
I mean, come on, Phil Connors on the street, and just give me Groundhog Day, and I still got a deep well of Bill Murray films that I can get into round 2 and 3 with.
Do I get to run it back now with my pick, or are we going snake?
Yeah. Let's just keep it NFL draft style. You get the top pick. You had a tough season.
I appreciate it. I'm flipping the script. I'm going to the 90s. I stayed in the 80s. Now I'm going 1996. Now, he's not the lead in this film, but it was a generational performance. Bigger and McCracken, Kingpin.
Oh man,
number 2 overall. Fantastic. I'm trying to think of some of his classic one-liners from that. His hair, his outfit, where he beats the one-hand man in the finals. His performance is generational in that film. Who did that? It wasn't the Coen brothers, or was it the
Farley brothers?
Farley brothers did that.
Yeah.
He was fantastic. That might be my favorite Farley brother movie of all time. Who is what's his Roy Munson? He really Munson that one. So yeah, Bigger is my number 2 pick with Kingpin there.
And my number 2 pick in the Bill Murray draft. I'm going to select Stripes. Bill Murray, John Candy. Anytime those two guys are together, it's always crazy. When you can get a guy that's supposed to be in the military and where there is always order and they are 100% in disorder and disarray, Stripes is my number 2 pick of the Bill Murray movies.
You guys took a couple of mine, just taken right from beneath me, and I'm kind of distraught about it. So I'm gonna have to dig deep. And yeah, my guy Josh just nailed it, because I don't think Space Jam was as iconic as it became without Bill Murray being Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen in that movie. I mean, when he comes in and saves the day, and he's just kind of like the comic relief. Give me Bill Murray in Space Jam all day. That's my number 2 Bill Murray film. And as we break down Murray films in light of Kyler Murray's latest contract report.
We need that. Definitely need
We do. We need the fun. We're having fun here on a Friday, a non-football Friday. We don't have too many of these left, as we've got the NFL draft just 2 weeks away. All right. I'm going to go off the cuff again. I'm trying to go 3 different decades with my Bill Murray picks just to showcase his longevity. I'm going to go with a pick that came, I think this movie came out in 2008, 2009. Again, he reunites with Woody Harrelson. I read that he said he would only be in this movie if he could play an elaborated version of himself. If you've seen Zombieland, where he just hangs out at his house, screws around, and then eventually gets shot and dies off. Fantastic. Favorite Bill Murray movie, probably the last 20 years. So Zombieland is my 3rd overall pick.
And so since I happen to be older than both of you guys, you was probably just scratching the sacks on somebody at this time. In 1986, there's a little movie called The Little Shop of Horror.
Oh, great movie.
I mean, and during that timeline, it was absolutely funny. Of course, that movie probably wouldn't be as funny right now, but I mean, just the
him in the dentist's office, right? The dentist chair with Steve Martin.
It's pretty crazy, man. So again, Little Shop of Horrors is my 3rd pick. We're going to figure out how to rebound in the 4th and 5th round, but I think that's where we're stopping at. So I'm good. I'm good with my picks right there.
I think it's a solid list. I do acknowledge what Jose said in the chat as well. The Space Jam with Bill Murray and Michael Jordan should be the only Space Jam. I don't know what LeBron James.
I refuse to watch that.
I haven't watched it either, and I'm not going to. I don't want to sully what I remember and the nostalgia of growing up and watching Space Jam with his airness. I mean, there's a couple. I can finish this with a couple on the board here. Ghostbusters 2 still available. You've got, where was I going with? I think Scrooged is going to be my final pick. It's the take.
Good pick.
Yep.
Good pick.
Just it's a staple during Christmas season. Scrooge, just perfect performance by Bill Murray.
That was a lot of fun. We like to have fun on this show. Okay, we get down to brass tacks. We talk about important shit like Kyler Murray's contract, but we can also get down. We're gonna get down in 2 weeks at the NFL draft at the Ainsworth, April 28th, 4 p.m. PHNX Cardinals, Bird Gang Travel Club. They're in the chat. Say hi to Tyler. And then also CB1 for the Arizona Cardinals. Byron Murphy will be in the house. First 50 guests inside. All expenses paid. You get a photo. You get an autograph. You get a handshake with the Cardinals' top premier cornerback, who, by the way, needs a contract of himself. Ask him about his contract. I'm sure he'll be pro that. This is taking place in 2 weeks at the Ainsworth Hotel. We're going to be live. Myself, Bo, Damian Anderson, and, of course, our resident receiver, Frank Sanders. From the start of the draft till the end of the draft, we're going to have wall-to-wall, wire-to-wire coverage that you won't get anywhere else in the Valley. We'll be tuned in, tapped in. Bo's going to turn around and go yell at Steve Keim for when they take yet another linebacker at the Cardinals facility. But in all seriousness, get your tickets now. Come hang out with us. We can't wait to visit with you guys. It's going to be a blast.
It's so sad that you can think that the draft is going to be like a New York Jets fan.
I'm trying to set myself up. Expect the worst, hope for the best, expect the worst.
But it's possible. And that's the part where, I mean, one of the guys called you out. You said, Steve Keim is a good general manager, and he's not. He's a good dude. great to hang out with. I mean, freaking,
He's
like
a great
I hung out with the homie. He's a great dude to hang out with. I mean, 100% great dude to hang out with. Just in the task of being able to build a team and what we've done in the last couple of years, I think it's been evident that we're letting our talent go. We're letting young talent go. And then we're having to either bring them back, hope is that we can get another a moment of glory. But it's sad to see that. And I can only hope for the best, because I don't want to be at a draft party, man, when guys are throwing up saying, no, we don't know. We got a guy from UConn.
You're gonna have to spin me up. You're gonna have to spin me up a drink if we take a defensive tackle from UConn at 23, Frank. You're gonna have to go to the bar, mix me the stiffest drink you can. I might sleep in the hotel lobby that night. That's how bad it'll get for me.
I'm just bringing the bottle, brother. I'm bringing the bottle over to you. You and I both are just going.
Well, and that's when we kind of just pivot to therapy for Cardinals fans. I mean, that's when we go from everybody hope springs eternal as far as, this opportunity to get a big time player at 23. I think a lot of people are given their expectations are too high. I mean, Steve Keim has been picking within the top 20 now for the last couple of drafts, and he hasn't hit. So the expectation for him to hit at 23, that's you got to temper some expectations unless somebody really falls in his lap.
Well, you can make an argument, and that we're bringing the bar way, way down. His only top 10 hit is Kyler Murray to this point. Two of his more productive players, one of which got an extension, came in the 20s. DJ Humphries, once upon a time, and then Deone Buchanan. I still think if Todd Bowles had been around long term and never got the Jets job, I think Deone Buchanan would have stayed longer, maybe gotten a second deal, not a huge deal. Those are two of his better picks, and they came in the 20s. And I just think the closer we can get, Steve, to picking in the second, the better off he's going to be. And I put something out on Twitter today. I don't know if you gentlemen saw this or not. I get bored, and I look at the draft trade value chart because I'm a huge nerd, and I'm like, okay. And you guys may not do this, but I do. Okay, what would it take for the Cardinals to get a third if they traded down? And I'm not saying let's trade down if flipping Jamison Williams is there, or I like Burks, but if they don't love Burks, it's not. If the board's pick clean, like if a Zaven Collins scenario last year, like shit, everybody good's gone. What do we do? So here's what I came up with. So the Cardinals would need to move back roughly 6 to 8 picks in order to secure an additional third rounder. Right? They don't have a fourth or a fifth. So this maybe what Steve Keim hopefully is thinking about, at least entertaining. Let's say Kansas City wants to come up and they love Burks, right? And we've heard from Gambadaro, among others, that the Cardinals may not love Burks. While that would crush our spirits, let's say they want to move back. Kansas City wants to move up. Cardinals could get pick 29 and pick number 94. So now you have 2 picks in the third. You have 29. You could still get maybe Doxson, the kid from Penn State, at 29. His over-under of being drafted is between 30 to 32. Would you guys be pro something like that, or are you about value, stay home, take a kid at 23?
Look, if you can get value, and you're entrusting Steve Keim to make multiple picks instead of just hit on one.
More shots at the dartboard, my friend.
Sure, yeah, shoot. I mean, it's like Eric Burkhart with leaking reports to reporters on this Kyler thing. I mean, he's trying to get a job
like me
done.
at the college bars, my man. Shooter, shoot. Right. Hey, 5'6" guy, the tight muscle tee, get out of here.
In the locker room, I'm going to say, hell no. Do your damn job. Pick a good guy and bring him that's going to be impactful. Stop lowering the bar for a guy that's getting paid, $2 and $4 million to do his job for the general manager part, to build a franchise, and that's what you're not doing consistently. Please, we can't lower the bar. If what I will say, onto just be on the opposite end of that, let's trade some of our assets, and then let's go get more first-round picks. And then if you really want to build a team, let's do it that way. And who are the best 2 assets we got to trade right now? Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins.
Get the hell out of here.
We will save $300 million over the next 3 years.
Frank.
We'll save $300 million over the next 3 years. That's what the Cardinals will save by trading. You won't give the $240 million.
Guys, if I had the ability to mute his mic right now, I would.
Look, you just did hypotheticals, Bo. Can I do a little hypo? Just
yes. Oh, darn. His
I know that sounds crazy.
Bo,
perfect timing. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. We'll save $300 million.
I like your outside the box thinking. I just to include, the two guys that are you can rely upon in this organization, and K1 and Nuke. I just don't think that's anywhere you want to go with this organization. But I do look, if he wants to go Les Snead and F them picks, I don't have a problem with that. His hit rate as far as trades go, Steve Keim, I mean, great, awesome. That's probably his strength as a general manager. But also, look, he's been able to find quality players at the NFL level from rounds 1 to 3. He just hasn't found studs. He hasn't found stars. So, and his third round, if you can add 2 third-rounders, one more to what he's already got at 87, his third-round picks are actually pretty damn good. Tyrann
That's
Mathieu,
what I'm saying. That's
David
what I'm saying.
Johnson. Okay,
that's terrible. That's
John Brown.
Those are not they're not the dogs that you like. You don't set up your camp.
Tyrann Mathieu, David Johnson is 20 touchdowns.
I mean, Tyrann Mathieu wouldn't have been that if he hadn't had a little like a bug.
But that's when you take those guys.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I will say, Bo. While Frank's frozen again, here's what I'll say: his day 2 picks have not been as good since the Aaron's years, and so I think I'm guilty of this too. We can harp on his day 2 success too much. I do that all the time because I'm referencing players from a half decade ago. The most recent hits are Buda Baker, and then it's okay, do we consider Zach Allen and Byron Murphy hits? Well, they haven't gotten their second contracts yet. They're not Pro Bowlers yet. I would say you're a hit on day 2 if you get a second contract. That's how I mark a hit. There's been a lot of Andy Isabellas. There's been a lot of Chad Williams, right? There's been a lot of busts. And so I do think that narrative can kind of run dry a little bit. And then you couple that with the disastrous first-round picks that he's had, half of which don't play the first year. It becomes, why aren't we trading all of our picks? Why aren't we in on a Tyreek or a Devontae and moving a bunch of money to the back half? Because, it would make our draft coverage, not great because the Cardinals don't have any picks, but the Cardinals would be favored to win more games in the fall. We do this thing where we talk ourselves into picks because we love the idea of what the picks may be. And then post-draft, you're like, God, none of these guys look like players to me. So I'm guilty of that, as is everybody else. But the second-day narrative, I think, is running out.
Let me add, guys, I don't want to trade Kyler. I don't want to trade him. I'm not saying it like
you're being hated in the chat.
No,
right now.
I don't worry about that. But it's facts. I don't want to trade Kyler. These are the same guys that wanted Kyle to do something. And he did nothing for us. Absolutely nothing in free agency this year.
Don't unsubscribe, Jason.
Which is concerning. No, I'm just saying, I don't want that. I'm saying I don't want to lose a player. I'm just watching an organization historically get rid of top-tier players when they're young and maybe because they don't want to pay them. That's just on the table. Unfortunately, that's something in my mind. I'm just saying, potentially why Eric Burkhart is arguing for a new contract right now is because the narrative is Kyler Murray is the problem. We as fans and those who have watched, he's not the problem. But the conversation is that, and it's making why Eric Burkhart is arguing these points and why it looks, the scenario looks very sketchy. It just looks very sketchy. You sign 2 people and you don't sign your starting quarterback, or you don't even come out and say Kyler's in a good position. We're not worried about that. Nothing.
I think Eric Burkhart wants to go to CJ Stroud and Bryce Young in a year and say, hey, look, I got my guy paid earlier than anybody. Sign with me. I'll be your agent. Nobody did it better than I did.
Sign with me. Did you see that killer press statement I made in February? That was the biggest fucking joke of all time.
If Kyler gets paid, it worked. At least before the draft, or before historically any other quarterbacks gotten paid during the current construct. So, I just think it's more Eric Burkhart trying to create a badge of honor for himself, his agency, and how he represents his players, than him scared that Kyler Murray is going to be the next Baker Mayfield, who I don't think anybody in the Browns organization was thinking he was going to be done going into his 5th season with the team, and that's where he is legitimately right now. So I still don't understand it. I'm not hitting the panic button just yet as far as this Kyler Murray situation. I'm not talking trade, Frank. You can get
wound up in it.
What a quarterback can get you is very intriguing, but at the same time, we know, as we've followed this team for so long, how hard it is to find a franchise caliber quarterback, and Kyler Murray is absolutely that Don't move off of them. Don't even consider it. Just figure out what the money, what it's going to cost. Figure out what, the mess that the Browns made with the Deshaun Watson contract, the mess the Raiders made with this Derek Carr contract, and get a deal done by training camp.
A smart move would be to lock up Kyler Murray. Another smart move would be go get your COVID-19 vaccine. Children 5 and older are eligible for the vaccine. The vaccine is the best tool we have to reduce the chances of getting sick with COVID-19. The vaccine can reduce the risk of being hospitalized or even dying from the disease. It is safe, free, and highly effective, and vaccines are available throughout Arizona. Visit azhealth.gov/find vaccine for a location nearest to you.
We also have a new partner in the house. We're excited to welcome OG's Brands into the PHNX family. OG's is one of Arizona's first original scratch-made cannabis kitchens, is dedicated to creating innovative and memorable cannabis-infused products that flavor life's journey. The quality of their products stem from the combination of accurate dosing and amazing flavor. I mean, you could think quarterback trades. When you put down some OG's, you get the correct dosing, and you can just spend a whole night thinking about what kind of a ransom you could get back for a quarterback the quality of Kyler Murray. But the Animals, not a one-size-fits-all product, which is why OG's is proud to offer a wide range of products for all demographics and preferences. Their motto is flavoring life. Our PHNX crew is out there. Is it out on Roosevelt, out in downtown Phoenix? Is that where they're hanging out tonight, celebrating?
I don't know. I just know I saw this photo the other day, and I vowed never to go out with my PHNX brethren again. So while I wasn't given the formal invite to come partake today, I had a show to host. To hell with those people is what I say.
Okay. Well, it looks like they can get tropical, just like the tropical fruit flavors, including guava, strawberry, kiwi, raspberry, orange, and pina colada. So many great flavors. If you're interested in trying the amazing, delicious variety of flavors from OG's Brands, go to ogsbrands.com. That's OGEEZ brands.com to find OG's near you.
My man, Bo Brock's got another banger of an article at gophnx.com about the Cardinals' recent re-signing of AJ Green. Don't worry, folks. He leaves options open for the Cardinals to improve in the upcoming draft. If you want to become a member of the Go PHNX family, you have not picked a better time to do so. First month is 50 cents every month after $8.99 a month, or become a member for the entire year at half the price and get a free t-shirt like this Sun Devils tee from the PHNX merchandise locker. We will have wall-to-wall draft coverage continuing leading up to the big day. For those of you who just jumped on, we want to remind everybody, April 28th at 4 p.m., we will be live at the Ainsworth Hotel. PHNX Cardinals Live, myself, Bo Brock, Frank Sanders, Damian Anderson, among others. We got food and drink specials. We got giveaways. We got CB1 Byron Murphy in the house for the first 50 customers. Free t-shirt, free handshake, free photograph, free autograph is what I meant to say, and just free good times with PHNX Cardinals fandom, family. It's our biggest event. I think since we've launched PHNX, we're going to have coverage of the entire first round. We're going to have continued coverage leading into day 2, day 3. You want to keep it locked in, gentlemen, to PHNX here for draft season.
Marcel Shipp added to the roster draft night.
Ooh.
It's going to be fun. He had a couple big 1,000 yards from scrimmage seasons, 800 yards on the ground for the Cardinals. Just like our guy Frank Sanders, going over 1,000 yards in a season back-to-back years is pretty impressive. Can't wait to hear what Marcel has to say. Also have some more guys added to our roster. We'll tell you about that next couple days and weeks leading up to the draft, but less than 2 weeks now.
It's the Ainsworth restaurant. Is the Ainsworth also a hotel, by the way? I feel like it's like Saul's called it a hotel. It's going to be a hotel because you're going to want to stay a couple extra days partying with us. But want to remind everybody, PHNX Cardinals, be sure, like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. Follow us at PHNX Sports on YouTube. Follow Bo Brock on Twitter at Bo Brock. Frank Sanders at Frank Sanders 81. I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you, not mañana, but on Monday. And I am producing the show. See you guys later on.